Integrity. That's a big word, isn't it? What does it mean to have integrity? Why is it so important to have integrity in business and in life? Integrity is what we're talking about today on the Sub2Deals show. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Sub2Deals show where we talk about all things subject to. Now, occasionally we talk about other topics, always something to help you with your real estate investing business. My name is William Tingle of Sub2Deals.com and Sub2 University. And you might be asking yourself, why is a real estate investing podcast talking about a topic that's not really a technical real estate thing? Integrity. It's not really how to get a deed or how to get a house under contract or what documents you need to use. I'll tell you, Jody and I have taken off for the last few months, and so we had sort of a hiatus on the podcast, and we came back last week with an episode about Sub2Deals and are they safe? If you missed that, you can go back and check it out. We're talking about Sub2Deals and just deals in general, real estate in general, and is it safe? But I'll tell you what you come to realize after you've done this for a little bit. Maybe part of it's just age too, is that, people get started, they're new in the business, and they want to hear all about the technical things regarding real estate. How do you, get a deed? How do you buy a house subject to? How do you wholesale? How do you do whatever? But I'm going to tell you, there's so many other things that go into being a successful real estate investor and just being happy in life in general. I think there are several pillars. We talk about the pillars of a deal, but there are several pillars that are involved as well. And I had decided, we talked about stopping doing the podcast. We've done it for 5 years. And you can talk about real estate every day, all day long. When I first got started, one of the things, when you don't know what you don't know and you're doing all of your research, how long does a podcast need to be? And what I came down to, the answer that made the most sense to me was it needs to be long enough to tell somebody whatever it is that you're trying to tell them. So, and while we could talk about real estate forever, there are so many technical parts to a Sub2 deal or to any real estate transaction. And we can talk about things all the time. But I think in the interest of the Sub2Deals podcast being a little bit more broad and well-rounded with all of the skills that you need to have as a real estate investor. So that's what we're doing moving forward. And that, some people may not be happy about that, but it's my show, so I can do, I guess, whatever I want. So that's what we're going to do. So today we're going to talk about integrity and my observations with that and how it works in real estate. I think most people would be in agreement that integrity is important in your real estate business, certainly as it is in life. But what does it truly mean to have integrity? And we'll talk about my views on that, as well as the unfortunate reality of so many people who talk the talk, but fail to walk the walk. Integrity is a word that gets thrown around a lot. At its core, I think what most people think about when they hear about integrity is someone that's honest and has strong moral principles. I think the most common saying, and I actually made a post about this on Facebook a few days ago about integrity, and I asked people to share with me what their thoughts on integrity were. And of course, the most common one is, well, it's doing the right thing even if nobody's watching. And, that's an old saying, and that's true. But it's also about consistency in your values and actions. Of course, this is in my opinion. Now, Webster defines integrity as a firm adherence to a code of especially moral values, incorruptibility. It sounds like Webster is implying to have integrity, you have to be perfect. Now, anyone listening to this, you're probably a human, and humans aren't perfect. We know that. We all, fail and fall short from time to time. But what does it mean to really have integrity? And more importantly, in the world of real estate investing, or really in any field, integrity is key to building trust and lasting relationships. That's for sure. When you operate with integrity, people generally know they can count on you as far as they know in their relationship with you. And having a good reputation is important. And generally, people that have integrity will have a good relationship, a good reputation. But again, it goes back to that key. It's doing the right thing, even if nobody's looking. So let's talk about the flip side of integrity. And we see this a ton in real estate, and whether it's investors or teachers. And those are the people who preach a lot about it and don't practice it. And we all know somebody this way. They do a lot of virtue signaling. Okay. And we all know virtue signaling. Hey, they can't do anything for anybody without making a post about it or telling the world about it. Listen, look at how great I am. Look at how much integrity I have. Look at how kind I am. Look at all these things that I do for other people. We know people all of us know people who like to talk about how important integrity is, but their actions really tell a completely different story. Take, for example, investors who talk about how much integrity they have in business, but yet, and foreclosure investors, investors as a group, we like to tell people one of the reasons that we do what we do is to help people. We help a lot of people, and some investors do. A lot of investors do. They help a lot of people. They solve problems. They get people out of bad situations. But any of us can spend 10 minutes on Facebook or any other social media platform where people go and they post, and within 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a group, see a wholesaler, for example, talk about, I made an offer on this property. This person needed money. I gave them an offer. They took it. And now they want to take another offer that's higher. What should I do? And the vast majority of other investors will say, you better go down there and record a memorandum. You better stop that. I don't know. I guess I would try to find out more. Can somebody else afford to pay more? What is that person's situation? Maybe they really need the money. Maybe they need the money for medical bills or something else. Is that really how we want to treat people? I know foreclosure investors who will tell you all day long how they help other people. But the truth is, if they get a house under contract from someone who's in foreclosure, and this person finds a way to save their home and stay in their home, they'll go down and record something or try to force a sale. Is that really how you want to do business? And I'll tell you, almost without fail, the people that speak the most about integrity have the least of it. I like to, when I hear people talk a lot about having integrity, I always think of Margaret Thatcher's quote on being a lady. And she said, if you have to tell people that you are, you aren't. Okay. If you act with integrity, people will know it in your business, how you treat people. There's more to integrity, though, than just not having the intention of screwing somebody in a financial transaction. There's treating people with respect. There's having compassion for people, not being a gossip, not spreading half-truths about people, things that you don't know. I'll tell you, there was something that happened just this weekend where a very well-known and respected person who has run a business that helps real estate investors. And my understanding, I don't know this person, but man, it's been all over Facebook. This person ran this business for over 20 years. Something happened. And so they're selling the company to somebody else. And man, I mean, if there's blood in the water, the sharks come out. Are these people acting with integrity? I would say no, but that's just me. In real estate, you may encounter investors and teachers, for that matter, who boast about their integrity and ethical practices. They say all the right things, but when it really comes down to it, they mislead clients. They fail to honor agreements. Maybe some of these guys are posers. They haven't done a deal in years, but they talk about deals that they're doing, even though they haven't. Their lack of integrity damages their reputation and hurts other people who trust them. Now, listen, and I want to make something really clear here. I'm not talking about deals that go bad. Bad things can happen to good people all the time. I'm not talking about people that go into a deal. When I talk about an investor with a lack of integrity, I'm talking about the way they treat people on purpose, or the fact that they intended to go into that deal and not take care of the other parties involved. Sometimes deals go bad. We had a discussion recently with some students about lending money to friends that are investors and not having the proper protections. You just do that to make sure that if things go bad, everything's still going to be okay for you. Now, your friend probably didn't mean to screw you over if the deal goes bad, but things just happen. Talking about integrity and the saying about doing the right thing, even if nobody's watching. I can tell you about a case where there is a teacher in our space right now who has a good reputation as far as being an honest, ethical person who does the right thing. But this guy has such a scarcity mentality that if someone he considers a competitor of his is speaking at an event, he will pick up the phone and call the person running the event and try to have this competitor removed from speaking by telling some kind of fabricated story about him. Does that sound like a person that operates with integrity? But now his followers would never know he does those things, but people on the inside know about it because they talk about it. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about integrity, because integrity isn't really just a word. It's a way of life. It's how we conduct all of our business. In the end, integrity is not just about words. It's about our actions. It's about treating people fairly in business. It's also about having compassion for people, about treating people with respect, treating people like you would want to be treated. It's something that you have to live each and every day. I know this wasn't a technical explanation of anything to do with real estate, but I just think that people need to be aware of what's going on. Somebody that I follow said the other day, they had a reel and it was, I'm going to clean it up a little bit because this guy's pretty blunt, but he said, if someone gossips to you, given the opportunity, they will gossip about you. So go into your relationships, hang out with the people that you do, knowing that your best move is to get away from those relationships, because if they'll do it to you, they'll do it about you. So just remember that. Guys, this is going to wrap up this episode of the Sub2Deals Podcast. We hope you found value in what we offered today. If you did, we'd love to have a like or a subscribe. Share this episode with other investors who it might help. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, who falsely believes that they operate with integrity because they don't screw people over in financial deals, but maybe they need to work on some other areas. So, guys, get out there, talk to some sellers, and buy some houses.